Namaste, welcome to Geeta's Kitchen. So in our Krishna Jayanthi recipes, today we will make the typical traditional savoury and sweet which is made for Krishna Janmashtami in Tamil Nadu, that is Seedai. We make two versions, Uppu Seedai the savoury version and Vella Seedai the sweet version. So let's start. For making the Seedai, the two main ingredients are rice flour and Urad Dal flour. To make the Urad Dal flour, take this whole Urad Dal, wipe it well with a clean white cloth, and then I have taken about half a cup. You can dry roast this till it gets a lovely golden color. Dry roast it over a low to medium flame. See, it has come to a uniform golden color. That's why I say do it on a low flame and stir it continuously. When it reaches this color, remove it onto a plate and allow it to cool. When cool, we'll make it into a powder in a blender jar. So while we are waiting for that to cool, we'll roast the rice flour. Rice flour you can make in two ways. You can make homemade processed rice flour, in which case you wash the rice, soak it in water say for about an hour or so, drain out the water, spread the rice on a clean cloth to dry in the shade. Then when 90% of the moisture is gone, if you just touch the rice, a few grains should stick to your palm, that's all. At that stage, you grind it into a powder in your mixie jar, sieve it very well and keep. Or if you don't have the time for all that, you can use ready-made idiyappam flour which is available. I have given you the link earlier also, that Nagas or any brand whichever you like. Use that. With that also you can make the rice flour. Whichever rice flour you use, first you have to roast it very well like this. Again on a low flame with continuous stirring. Keep on roasting it till it becomes nice and hot to touch, then switch it off. Another way of knowing that it is done, take a bit of the roasted flour. You should be able to draw a line like this. That means the rice flour is ready and well roasted. Meanwhile, we can make our jaggery syrup. I have taken 1 cup of rice flour. So for 1 cup of rice flour, we can use 3/4 cup of jaggery and say about half a cup of water. Now allow this to boil. You don't need any particular syrup stage. If it starts boiling and frothing nicely, that is enough. See, the jaggery has dissolved well. Now we'll just allow it to boil for a couple of minutes more till it becomes slightly thick. See, it is boiling very well and frothing up now. I'll just switch this off. Filter it out so that if there are any impurities, it will be removed. Our jaggery syrup is ready. The dal has also cooled down. We will grind it now into a powder in our dry powder jar. See, our Urad Dal has been powdered nice and fine, but it is essential that you sieve it very well. Our Urad Dal flour is sieved and ready. Next, we will sieve the rice flour also. Don't ever skip the sieving process. Otherwise, sometimes people complain that the seed bursts when put in the oil. This sieving eliminates all that. So now we have sieved our rice flour, 1 cup, kept it ready. To this I am adding about 2 teaspoons of chopped dry coconut. You can use dry coconut or fresh coconut. I had dry coconut. So I chopped it into small pieces, bits like this. Add it. To this add 2 teaspoons of this freshly made Urad Dal flour. This is sesame seeds, white sesame seeds or til. We can add up to 1 teaspoon of that. Add some cardamom powder. and a teaspoon of butter. Mix all these dry ingredients well together so that the butter is spread throughout. Now as the syrup is still hot, I am using this wooden spoon to mix it. Add in the syrup little by little and mix it into the flour. Do not add all at once, add little by little to see how much the flour will hold. Now I can handle it with my fingers. Mix all together. Just a little bit more. It will be correct, the quantity of syrup we have taken. Bring it all together as one dough. It has become a soft dough. Just cover it and keep it aside for about 15-20 minutes. To make the Vella Seedai, pinch out small portions of the dough, bigger than the Uppu Seedai. Can make them this size, small lemon size portions of the dough, and make it like balls and keep it ready. We have made them into small lemon size balls. Heat oil, again keep the oil in a very low flame in sim and gently slide in one Vella Seedai into the oil. First drop just one into the oil and check. Then don't put in the ladle immediately. After little while, gently flip it over like this and allow it to cook on the other side also. In this case, you cannot drop in a whole lot at a time. Just maximum 2 or 3 you can put. Keep a little bit of oil and fry them. Let it cook well till it gets a dark brown color and then we can remove it. Similarly, when this bubbling ceases, gently remove it from the oil. Can you see those cracks formed on the surface? That means the Vella Seedai has been done well. This one, when you keep it, you will just feel as if it is soft because it is hot and it contains jaggery. On cooling, this will harden. Now, put in the next batch. Likewise, fry all the Vella Seedais, few at a time, and drain them out. Now some tips for beginners. Here are some troubleshooters. Sometimes whatever care you take, when you drop the Vella Seedai into the oil, you will find that it all disintegrates and then you won't know what to do. Don't worry at all. Just add 2 teaspoons of wheat flour atta into it and again mix it, make it into a dough that will give the required binding, and you can make the Vella Seedai. It only means that your jaggery quantity is more than the required amount. That is why right in the beginning I said first drop 1 Vella Seedai into the oil and check, because if you drop in 3-4 and they all disintegrate, the oil is this spoiled and your entire efforts become a waste. So drop in 1, check if it is fine, then proceed. Similarly with the Uppu Seedai, that is the savory version, the common major complaint is when you drop the seedais into the oil, it bursts as if a bomb has burst and you have oil. It has happened to me also as a beginner. You have oil on the ceiling, on the walls, everywhere, all splattered, and it takes you more than half a day to get it cleaned. The reason is only one, there is some moisture in the flour, that is the flour has not been roasted well, or 2, there is some fine dust or sand particles. I remember, see, nowadays we are using table salt. Earlier on my mother used to use this crystal salt, what we call as kallup. She would never add it directly or just powder it. It would be dissolved in water and then filtered and added. So if there is any dust, that will also get automatically removed. And when you grind it, I remember I told you to sieve it very well, because if there are some small particles of rice left in it which has not been powdered well, that also can result in bursting. So these tips you take care, and you will meet with success while making Vella Seedai as well as Uppu Seedai. Also, earlier on in many of my videos, some people have asked me, Amma, what to do with this Ganesha which you keep right in the beginning? Do you put the Ganesha also in the oil? Definitely not. Don't put the Ganesha in the oil. You can just add it to your pots in the soil or dissolve it in water and add it. Another tip, when you fry the Vella Seedai, don't be tempted to increase the flame of the oil. Always let the flame be only in sim. Patiently fry it over a low flame. Otherwise the outer covering will be well cooked and inside you will have raw flour which is not cooked. See, our Vella Seedai is also now fried and ready. Now to make the Uppu Seedai also, the process is very similar. I have taken 1 cup of processed rice flour and we will first dry roast it till it becomes nice and hot. Dry roast it over a low flame. Now you can fry the flour once at a time for both the Uppu Seedai and Vella Seedai and then divide it for the two. But for beginners, I am just showing it separately so that you learn each recipe easily. See, the rice flour has been roasted well and become hot to touch. I am switching it off. Transfer it to a plate and allow it to cool. Now we have to sieve the rice flour for the Uppu Seedai also. Sieve it very well and keep. This is a very important process. I keep stressing on it. This is to avoid any accidents like the seedai bursting in the oil. Now to make the dough for the Uppu Seedai, we have sieved out 1 cup of rice flour and 2 teaspoons of this Urad dal flour, 2 teaspoons of this chopped dry coconut, a teaspoon of this white til or sesame seeds, some hing powder, salt to taste. This is Channa Dal which I had soaked for over an hour and kept ready. So just add about 2 teaspoons of this soaked Channa Dal to it. Add butter. 1 heaped teaspoon would be fine. Now first mix the butter well into the flour. Add water a little at a time and make it into a dough. The butter I have used is unsalted butter, or you can call it as cooking butter, which is available in the stores, or if you have homemade butter, nothing like it, that would be the best to use. So this is how your dough should be. Now we can start rolling into balls. First our prayer to Ganesha. Here I have a little bit of coconut oil. Just grease your hands with some coconut oil. Take out a small portion of the dough and hold it like a cylinder in your palm like this, and pinch out small portions and roll it out on your palm and drop it onto a clean white cloth like this. The small balls need not be perfect rounds. It is better if they are slightly irregular in shape. That also helps in preventing bursting of the seedai in oil. Try to make them all of nearly the same size. So this way, when you spread it on a cloth, any extra moisture will also be absorbed in the cloth and your seedais will come out nice and crisp. And we remember, we also make two of this shape saying Krishna Preeti. Here I kept some oil for heating. We have rolled out all the dough into small balls like this. As I always say, try to involve other small children if you have at home, adults too. Involve others also so that the process doesn't become monotonous for you, and with children chattering and laughing, the whole thing becomes quite an enjoyable way to make this seedai. So to check if the oil has heated well, just put a small portion of this dough into it. It should slowly come up to the surface. Now reduce the heat and add in one batch of the seedai. Gently slide it into the oil. After a couple of minutes, just mix it together and allow the seedais to fry till they get a light golden color. I remember as a child, those days they didn't have all these grinders and all at home. So in my grandmother's place, they used to have this huge volakai, like a mortar and pestle in iron. So this wet rice would be put into that, and two ladies would stand opposite each other, each with one volakai in her hand, and they would go in such synchronized motion like this. The sound was really something musical to me till the rice got pounded well and then used for making this. See, the bubbling has reduced considerably. Another way, see, you can hear the sound when you drop it. That is the kind of metallic sound you should hear. That means your seedais are done well. Now carefully drain it out from the oil. Similarly, gently slide in the remaining seedais also. Our Uppu Seedais are fried and ready. So, Uppu Seedai and Vella Seedai are two traditional recipes are now ready to be offered to Sri Krishna. The remaining Urad dal flour, store it in an airtight box, and it can be used for making another batch, or when you want to make tengodal or any other snacks, we can use that. Thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe to Geeta's Kitchen, and we'll meet again with another interesting video from Geeta's Kitchen. Thank you.